and welcome to the Dolmio Kitchen. Today we're going to be talking about one of the most important messages in healthy eating, and that's 5 a day. 5 fruit and vegetables a day. With me to help me this is my friend and expert dietitian, Lyndell Costain, and also one of you, Catherine from Cheshire. Welcome. Have a cup of tea.
Thank you.
Tell us all about yourself. How many children have you got?
I've got 3 girls.
How old are they?
10, 6 and 2.
Fantastic. And their names?
Shanice, Alana and Evie.
Wow, beautiful names. So how do you get on with feeding them? What are their eating habits like?
Oh, the middle one, Alana, she's really fussy. She's very fussy, actually. Trying to get her to try anything new is just a total nightmare. You know, anything different on a plate, and she just doesn't want to try it. So I have to try and hide things in the food and try new things all the time.
What about the other two?
The other 2 aren't too bad, actually. One of them, the baby, sometimes, I still call her baby, although she's 2. Some days she eats quite a lot, some days she doesn't, but I don't worry too much about that because she's a healthy weight, so...
Yeah. So apart from sort of taking fruit out of a fruit bowl and having a portion of veg on your plate, I mean, Catherine, have you got any tips for mums out there?
Yeah, not to try and feel too guilty. One of my children, she's really fussy about vegetables. She hardly eats any vegetables at all, but she does make up for it with a 5 a day with the fruit, and I really encourage that. And the school are really good as well because they give them fruit as well. She comes home, she comes out of school with fruit, so it's all part. Yeah, not to feel too guilty as long as they, you know.
Yeah, because I mean, let's face it. I mean, being a mum, I think, is the hardest job in the world, and we whip ourselves all the time, don't we? Oh, they're not doing this, not doing that, and does it balance out? Does it?
It does, and you've got to. It's about getting a good foundation to build from, and being a good role model. And maybe now they're quite limited in the fruit and veg that they'll try, but the fact she's having some fruit is fantastic, and you're quite right to feel pleased about that. And there's years ahead to start getting into those veg, so you know she's getting the goodness from the fruit, so that's brilliant.
My little boy, right, Okay, we're here in the kitchen. I'm going to show you a couple of ideas where you can kind of get the fruit and veg in, the 5 portions of fruit and veg a day. And Lyndell's here also to show us how or what a portion of fruit and veg looks like. And we're not, are we, just talking about fresh fruit and vegetables, are we? We're talking canned, frozen.
Absolutely, and this is the good news. It's not about eating platefuls of lettuce or mounds of broccoli, as you're saying. All good in its own place, but we need a bit of variety in our diet. And I mean, these are all adult portions, or portions that would suit an older child I'm going to run through. So I think for younger children, it's a bit about just having something on their plate, or sometimes it's easy to think about what might fit in their hand as being a portion. So just like your 3 dried apricots, or say a tablespoon or a small handful of raisins, would be similar, for example, to having a pear or a whole piece of fruit.
Oh, right, so it's, I suppose also because they're dried, aren't they? So they look...
That's right, they're shrunk down because all the moisture's gone out. So that's a small quantity. Again, that could be a nice snack for children, or on their breakfast cereal, or cooked into something. When it comes to things like tomatoes, 7 cherry tomatoes.
Do they like tomatoes?
They won't really eat them.
No, not even
like that.
Okay, but might they then eat a sauce like this, something like a tomato sauce?
Oh yeah,
on a pasta?
Yeah.
Brilliant. Because when it's a good quality sauce, which has got lots of tomatoes in it, a portion like this would count as a portion of fruit and vegetables. So different ways you can get them in. So good to have some fresh in there as well, but you said your daughters like fruit, so that's brilliant. Drinks as well, so a pure juice, just a small glass, about 150 ml, counts as a portion, or the same with a smoothie. And again,
so it's not gallons and gallons
no,
and gallons,
no, absolutely not. And remember, no matter where you're starting from, if your child is only having 0 or 1, they can get 1 extra portion in, that's good progress.
Yeah, that's fantastic, thank you. Right, well, I'm going to show you something quite naughty now. And it's a way to sort of, for children to enjoy fruit, and for adults. And I'm not saying that you should serve fruit like this every day, but it's just a different way of doing it. We're going to do a chocolate fondue. And we're using dark chocolate, but if your child finds that a little bit bitter, then you could use half dark and half milk. Yes, and then what you want to do is you want to melt your chocolate. Now, what I've got here, I have asbestos hands, as you can see. We've got a bowl here sitting over a pan of very gently simmering water. And now we're going to add a little bit of milk going in. Now, I want you to look at what happens here. You get in there and have a really, really good look. It gets quite thick at this stage when you start to add the milk. But the thing to do is not to panic. All you then need to do is just add a little more of the milk going in like that. All right? And then just mix that together. And just don't panic. Now, the next thing you want to do is to melt a smaller amount of chocolate, white chocolate, in a microwave or in exactly the same way as I've done here. When you're doing this at home, it will go slightly thicker. But don't panic, just put a little more in and just keep mixing it until you're ready. I better just check it's okay. Perfect. Right, now, what are you going to serve this with? Lots and lots of fruit for dipping. The great thing about a fondue is that you're not pouring the chocolate all over the food. You're dipping the fruit in. Okay, so the bowl's just a little bit hot, so I've got a cloth here. And as I said before, this is a mammoth bowl, so this is for us girls. Obviously for children, you do something a little bit smaller. Okay, so chocolate going in there. And then you've got your white chocolate. And what you want to do, in fact, you actually don't need very much of this at all. You can just kind of just whirl it on the top there. And then you can either use, probably the safest thing to use is just have a fork, and then you can just, you know, get your piece of kiwi. And I'm just going to dip it in here now, dip it in, like that.
So lots of fun.
And seeing as Catherine is our guest,
glad I haven't got to wait till
you can try that. Just have a bite into there. Nice juicy fruit. Yeah, and it's great because the chocolate really drips off quite quickly, so you're not actually having too much. All right, girls. Now look, I want to show you a savoury thing. Soups. Now we were talking earlier about vegetables being quite a sort of a tricky thing to sort of get into the diet. And what I've actually done is made a pea and broccoli chowder using these ingredients here. So we started off with an onion in a pan, fried that until it was lightly golden, added some broccoli spears, or you could use frozen broccoli if you wanted to, and then added the peas, added some water or stock, a little bit of garlic, bring it up to boil, simmer it, liquidize it, and then you've got this really tasty pea kind of soup, pea and broccoli soup. So I'm going to bring this over here, but we can also get some fruit in here as well. And what I've got here is some good granary bread, which I've just lightly toasted, and some tomatoes, some little tomatoes, which we've got here. And to those, I'm going to add just a little bit of olive oil and just drizzle that over the tomatoes. And then I'm going to take some fresh basil, and then you can just mix that together like so. And this has got a little bit of olive oil on it. We've got quite a lot of veg going on in here. We've got the broccoli, the peas, the basil, the olive oil, and I'm rather partial to a little bit of extra virgin olive oil over the top. Maybe you could crumble over some little bit of cheddar on the side. So you've got homemade vegetable soup made really quickly. That takes no time at all. If you like bacon, you can pop a bit of bacon in there, and you've also got your chocolate and your dark chocolate and your white chocolate fondue with lots of fresh fruit. So have you had a good time? Have you picked up any tips?
I've really enjoyed it. How to have fun with food, make it a bit more colourful, more interesting for them to try things out. Definitely, yeah. So it's
right. Let's go for the soup, shall we? I know what you want to go for. I can see. What do we think of that then?
Gorgeous, the pea flavour.
Let's forget the soup. Let's go straight for this.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Come on, I know you want. Get in there with the.
oh,
Okay.
strawberries.
Life's a drag, isn't it?
I love the swirly bit in there.
Any more tips?
Well, I mean, I think in terms of the 5 a day, it's thinking it doesn't always have to be about fresh fruit and veg, and hopefully that's something as well that's been helpful for you, Catherine, in terms of looking at ways that, especially your daughter who's a bit fussier, that when you said that with so much feeling, might be able to have some more fruit and perhaps even some tomatoes or, you know, other veg pureed in.
Yeah, definitely.
Just and the colours, thinking about the colours as well, whether it's fresh or dried or canned or frozen or juiced, the more colours, the more variety you can get. Not only is it attractive to eat, it's better for our health as well.
And I know that this is actually really quite a naughty pudding. But I'm a great believer in a little bit of what you like doesn't hurt you, as long as it's all... Do you agree?
Absolutely. And I mean, it's not really naughty at all. I think you're being too hard on this pudding.
Girls, thank you very much. Thank you, Catherine. I hope you've gone away with some ideas. Linda, as ever, thank you very, very much. And all I've got to say to you guys is thank you very, very much for joining us here in the Domio kitchen. And we'll see you very, very soon. I'm going to say, what about marshmallows? I suppose he wants to do, right?